Welcome to a new lesson. I know you guys are getting the hang of this. Here we are with Biocode 3. Biocode 3 is called the timing codes. And the focus of this biocode is to learn self-regulation, to learn that timing is everything. In this lesson, you'll learn the power of pause and how to take a breath when emotions and situations become unstable. Because the only productive time to problem solve is when all parties are emotionally stable. This is such an important biocode. So get ready. Here's Dr. Jill.
Every biocode is made up of a goal, a new perspective, and our 3-step process. So let's look at the goal. The goal is to observe when our emotions are elevated so we know if it's most beneficial to talk, to walk, or to listen, right? Because we could say, as you guys know, you could say the right thing in the wrong time, and it is going to be the wrong thing. So we need strategies about this time. We need strategies to understand when is it going to be effective to have that conversation and to talk. What are these strategies about how do we honor ourselves and other people when those emotions get elevated? Now, the new perspective is the new way of thinking about this, and this is so important. The only functional time to interact is when all parties are emotionally neutral. Now, there's a key word in there, all parties. So even though biocoding is all about you, and this is solo work, we are also taking note of other people and their emotional states, because remember, the biocode system is built on the help model. How could I help myself to be the best that I could be? And how could the byproduct of whatever I'm doing, whatever I'm saying, however I'm interacting, how could that be helpful to those around us? So this is about us, and it's about how we interact in the world around us. Our emotions could live in 3 categories. The emotion could be neutral, and here's what a neutral emotion is. It means that it's stable. It means that that person is open to receiving. Now, a neutral emotion doesn't necessarily mean the person is so calm and so steady and so zen. They could be, but they could also be excited, and they could be really happy and really alive and vibrant in that moment. So it could be very calm and it could be very exciting, but it's still a neutral emotion. Now, when we get triggered or we get upset by whatever circumstance is bothering us, emotions go in one of 2 directions. Either it could go high. When an emotion goes high and it becomes triggered, it's an unstable emotion. That's when anger comes in. Somebody is really upset, they're really heated, and that emotion becomes more unstable. That's when the person is in feel mode. The door is closed. That person needs to go inward so they can feel their feelings and understand what they're trying to tell them. Now, an emotion could also go low. We've all been there. We become sad, we become upset, right? It could even be somebody who's very weepy. In that moment, when the emotion gets very low, again, it's an unstable emotion. And unstable doesn't mean bad. It just means that person is in feel mode. The door is closed, and whatever lives within that person, they're supposed to be feeling. Now, when we look at these emotional states, it's so important to be able to recognize this within yourself and within other people so we could prevent interacting and trying to problem solve. Because when emotions become unstable and you try to problem solve with that person, here's what happens. What comes out of them is more of the same. So if somebody's in that high, elevated state and you try to interact with them and you say, I'm here for you, you know what they're going to do. What's going to come out is they're going to protect that feeling, protect that position that they're in, and they're going to go, you're never there for me. Or maybe somebody's sad. An example of this is, I'm so upset. Nobody likes me. I like you. No, you don't. You're never there for me. That person is in feel mode. And if we try to solve for that or talk to that or give them an answer, all it's going to do is inflame the situation and make things worse. So let's look at some strategies of how do we handle these moments so it's beneficial for ourselves and for other people, and we honor the emotional states that we're in. For the timing codes, as all codes, there's a 3-step process. And the first step always is about awareness, and that's self-awareness, because we can't change what we don't see, and we have to be able to have that acute awareness about ourselves and how we are interacting in the world around us. Now, Biocode 3 is an observation skill. Think about it like this. You are the spectator in this code to yourself, to other people, and to situations, so you could see if there's any emotional instability so you know how to act and what to do. Like, think about it like this. Have you ever noticed that when you're upset, when you feel triggered, that you could actually see yourself upset? Like there's this you that's looking at you and thinking to yourself, like, don't get so upset, right? That's what we call the observer. That's the one who's in the lighthouse, the stable-minded part of you that could notice what you're doing in that moment and how you're getting triggered. So in this skill, it's so powerful because you're going to be able to notice yourself, notice other people and these situations, so you know, again, if it's most appropriate to walk, talk, or listen. So awareness. The first thing we have to do is notice. Are you in an unstable or a stormy situation? Now, for most people, we pretty much could tell right away if we're in an unstable or stormy situation, if somebody is starting to get triggered or if we're starting to get triggered. So have that acute awareness. Again, observe yourself, observe other people and situations. Now, the second step is to adjust our way of thinking around this, because we need to see, where is this storm coming from? Is it coming from me? Is it coming from somebody else? Or is it coming from everybody? We have to see the origin of the unstable emotion so we know what the next move is. Now, the action step in all biocoding is about action, because if we don't take action and learn new habits and behaviors, then it's very hard to make change. Now, we're going to divide this into 2 different parts. Let's just say you're the stormy one and you notice, like, wow, I'm starting to get a little emotional, or I'm starting to get triggered, or I'm starting to get upset. What you want to do is observe yourself, right? First step, and praise yourself. Praise yourself for observing yourself and say, like, wow, I could see that I'm starting to get triggered. In that moment that you notice you're starting to get triggered, if you are in walk mode, meaning if you have the space, if you have the freedom to move away from that situation, I want you to move away kindly, anonymously, without making the situation the reason. Remember, all biocoding is done anonymously because, number one, we want to be that person. We want to be proud of who we are and how we manage ourselves. And we want to be helpful for other people, and we don't need the credit from them. And we for sure don't need them involved in our behavioral disciplines. This is 100% on us. So if you're the one who's getting a little heated or getting a little upset, it means your emotions, for whatever reason, are becoming unstable, and you need to take a moment, move away from the situation to give yourself time to calm down, to allow them to settle down. And of course they will. It may look like a strategy like this. You're having a conversation, your awareness comes in and you're like, uh-oh, they're coming from me. The emotions that are unstable are coming from me. You think, let me hit the pause button. Let me take time. Remember, taking time saves time when people are emotional. Maybe the strategy would be like, excuse me, I need to get some water, but I'll be right back because this conversation is important to me. When you move away from that situation that's heated or triggered, think about it like this. If you have a magnet, like that's like the other person, and you're the metal, that's picture the emotions clinging together like this. When you separate, even for a second, it gives the emotion time to settle down and take a break and stabilize itself again. And sometimes it doesn't even take that long. By simply saying, hey, listen, I need to get a phone call, but I'll come right back to this because this is important. Or maybe I need a bathroom break, glass of water. Any of these strategies will work. What won't work is, hey, listen, this is getting way too heated and I am moving away from the situation until you calm down. That's for sure going to agitate and trigger the situation. Now, let's look at what would be the scenario if somebody else is the one who's getting triggered. Let's say you're fine, you're stable, you're biocoding, you're in your power, and the person that's in front of you is starting to get upset. Now, if the person that's in front of you is starting to get upset, remember, it's still the magnet in the metal, and it becomes your turn once again. It's still your turn. You're going to be the one to gently move away from the situation. Now, here's a way of anonymously helping another person without them knowing it, because we do not want to cause harm and we do not want them engaged in our behavioral disciplines. That's inner work. That's the kindest, most impactful way to be. So you, again, would gently move away from the situation without making the situation wrong, without making the situation the problem of why you're moving away. In that moment, when you move away from that situation, the emotions again will have time to settle down. And when you come back in, whether it's then an hour later or you make time the next day, it's going to be a different conversation and a different interaction, because you're going to come back right onto the fact, not the disappointment, not the fallen expectation. You're going to get right back onto the ask of whatever it is that you really want or they really want, and you'll have a better outcome than you would have had you tried to deal with it when the emotions were triggered. Hitting the pause button is so important, because in that moment, when you hit that pause button, it's going to give you time to think and assess what's most important now. And when you're emotional, or when somebody else is emotional, taking that moment and moving away from that situation to stabilize is so important. Because when you come back into that situation, and yes, of course, you need to come back and have that conversation. This is not about avoidance. This is about delaying a conversation to stabilize yourself so you are kind and effective in that conversation. Remember, it's more important to be kind than to be right. That's the only way you're going to create closeness with those around you and start to have healthier interactions, so you will actually get something out of it. Timing